My name is Rio Almaria from College of DuPage. Thanks for coming to see our session, Sampling Schools of the South. We have our presenters ready and ready for you guys. So if you are wanting to ask questions to our panelists, please find the Q&A button and you would be able to type your questions there at any time. Please also, if you are attending the session, keep your camera off and your microphone off. That way, the panelists will be able to continue with their presentation since we do have a limited time of 45 minutes. So thank you. The recording will be available after this.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Austin Fitch. I'm an admissions counselor in the Office of Admissions and Scholarships at Mississippi State University. I actually do not have the state of Illinois. That is a person named Stephanie Newman in our office, but I'm filling in with her this evening. She cannot be with us. But with that being said, I'll spare you all some suspense and give you a blanket statement as well. We hail from the SEC, so just knowing that coming forward, that all four of us presenting will be from the SEC this evening. So with that, we were founded in 1878 as Mississippi A&M, or Agricultural and Mechanical College. So either of those two programs, anything ag or engineering, are two of our strongest programs to this day. We've had a name change since then, and now Mississippi State University, as we all know. So we have just over 22,000 students, right at 22,400 is where we're at this past school year, which seems like a lot of people, and that is a big number of people. But when you look at that in comparison to the rest of the SEC, we're currently the second smallest student population. So you kind of have that best of both going, which is awesome to get that one-on-one interaction with student and professor, which is mentioned just below that. You can see that we have a 20-to-1 student to faculty ratio. The average class size currently at MSU is somewhere between 35 and 38 students. So as I was mentioning, getting that one-on-one interaction with student and professor, which honestly professors in most cases have the highest degree in whatever professional program or professional career path you're trying to get to. So that one-on-one interaction is readily available at MSU. And also we have 26.1 average ACT for entering freshmen currently. Okay, so I know this slide is pretty vast. This is all of our academic colleges at Mississippi State University. I'm going to hit the high points or programs that we're best known for in each of these. And so if you just want to follow along, I'll start at the top left. College of Agriculture and Life Science. So I mentioned we were founded as an A&M college, the first being ag. So anything ag, still extremely strong at MSU. Currently, we're either top 15 to 20% in the nation. Any kind of research that happens in the college landscape in agriculture. Also in the middle there, top middle, College of Architecture, Art and Design. So all the fine arts are mentioned as well, but in our College of Architecture, currently we're top 25 in the nation. So that's a 5-year program that we offer on our campus as well. College of Arts and Sciences is the largest college on our campus. I was actually a member of the College of Arts and Sciences. I was a communication major in my time at MSU, which is about the most broad yet vague thing that you can major in, but I'm communicating with y'all right now. So tell my parents it paid off if you see them. But in the College of Arts and Sciences, broadcast meteorology, both undergraduate and graduate level degrees are offered, and that is a program that we're well known for as well. In business, all of your basic business degrees are offered. Also, we have the second oldest in existence PGA management program, so Professional Golf Association Management, which is a really strong and unique program at Mississippi State as well. In the middle there, you'll see the College of Education. So again, all of your basic teaching courses, things like elementary ed, secondary ed, higher ed, graduate level programs as well are offered. But then also in education, if you're interested in performance fitness or exercise science, kinesiology would be the most likely choice of major for you. That is in the College of Education. So just knowing that going forward, if you're interested in such things. Then to the right of that, the Bagley College of Engineering. So engineering is quite a large one at Mississippi State. Not a stretch to say that we're one of the top programs, especially in the South in the United States. Because of that, we have various engineering programs that we're especially strong in, things like aerospace engineering, civil engineering, mechanical, and even biomedical. So a lot of variety of programs just within engineering, and a lot of research happens in that college as well. So not a stretch to say that people from all over the world come to get trained as engineers at MSU. Bottom left, College of Forest Resources. So any student who is interested in the wildlife, fisheries, aquaculture, outdoors, potentially marine biology, all of that is encompassed in Forest Resources. Definitely the most research-driven college on our campus. We actually own our own forest about 8 miles from campus, so hundreds of research opportunities are available for students there. Then the bottom middle, you'll see that we offer veterinary medicine. So we're actually one of 28 vet programs in the entire country. This is an additional 4 years to your undergraduate degree. And if you're a senior in high school or will be a senior in high school, wherever you fall, if you're interested in pursuing vet school in the future, early entry program that you can apply to as a senior in high school. If you get accepted, you have a seat waiting for you all 4 years of college. And then on the bottom right, the Shackles Honors College, not necessarily an academic college, but there's a lot of great benefits from being a member of an association with our Honors College. It's their own residential college on our campus. And so for our higher achieving students, that is a great option for you to take advantage of while you're a student at MSU. Okay, so we are actually located in Mississippi State University in the town of Starkville. You can see where that's located in Mississippi right there. So Starkville, I'll just give you a quick little word on it. Mississippi Magazine, prominent magazine in the state, does a top 50 countdown of the best places to live every year. Number one on that list in the 2019 edition was Starkville. It's got its own character, its own vibe, if you will, very family-oriented, small, compact area, but you have everything that you need in the Starkville area. So it's a really great place, and I hope you come to know that. Okay, let's see, that did not go as planned. Okay, so to become a Bulldog, our application is open now. It opened on August 1st, 2020 at midnight. There's a general application online that you can find at apply.msstate.edu, $40 application fee or fee waiver, then your highest ACT or SAT score and a high school transcript. I'll go ahead and say this since I mentioned scores, and I'm sure that the others presenting this evening will say the same thing. At this point, I know that things are weird, but we are accepting tests, and we want you to send test scores if you have those, but we can still admit students without your test score. However, scholarship purposes, I would encourage you to submit your test scores if you have those. Okay, and then tuition sake for non-resident students, $34,386, the yearly amount. So you can see the cost breakdown there, but I will say we do have an out-of-state waiver. If you're a dependent of a military veteran, there's the veterans waiver, or an active duty service member that will also waive the out-of-state cost of tuition. And then to talk about scholarships briefly before my time is up here. So October 1st on the top left, that is when our general scholarship application will come available. It has a priority deadline of December 1st. So just knowing that if you want the maximum chance of scholarship consideration from Mississippi State, having that application in prior to December 1st is the way to ensure that. These bottom, these bottom scholarships are examples of what you might get that isn't necessarily directly related to test scores that come from our general scholarship application. And then with that, one great way to really experience MSU is to plan a visit to campus. So the top left, you'll see campusvisit.msstate.edu, very personalized setting that you will get a ton of information completely free. We're actually driving right now on campus with Campus. So if you're into that, I know that typically high school students get a couple of days where they can go visit. Starkville and the MSU community is a great place to go really be a student at for a day during a visit, in my opinion. And then things like preview days and academic insight if you want more information in a larger setting at MSU. This is Stephanie Newman's information. So take a screenshot, picture, whatever you have to do to get her information, because she's going to be the one that you want to reach out to in the future with questions regarding MSU. Thank y'all so much for this opportunity, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let's see if I can execute it. Okay, cool.
Thanks, Austin. Howdy, everyone. My name is Libby. I am the Texas A&M rep. And real quick before I get started, just an FYI, since I know that we're still waiting on maybe a handful more folks to show. Students, if you are online today, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Hit that up. We have time for questions at the end of this. We purposely shortened all of our presentations to make sure we have time to answer whatever questions that you may have. So definitely let us know. We can chat with you during the presentation, but also at the end during a Q&A. So, okay. And we can see, slowly but surely, a little clunky with the transition, but that's all right. Good deal. Give it 30 seconds. Okay, there we go. That only took a minute. So again, howdy, my name is Libby and I am your regional representative for folks that are in Illinois. Let's get started talking about Texas A&M. So first off, we are the Aggies. We are the first public institution of higher learning in the state of Texas that opened way back in 1876. We are one of 2 flagship universities in the state of Texas, belonging within the SEC. We are a land grant, sea grant, and space grant institution. So having that triple distinction is really important whenever it comes to research in particular. We are waiting for the final results this year, but census being taken, we're around 71,000 students, which would make us the largest university system in the nation. So really cool to be able to see what a large university can show you with opportunities. But with that said, we still have about a 20-to-1 student-teacher ratio for all of our students. We're also the #2 public university for service in the nation. Service is a big deal on campus with our Aggies, hosting a plethora of different events throughout campus and the community, one of them being called The Big Event. Quite literally, it's big. We have about 30,000 students that sign up for one day. It's the largest student-held service project in the nation, student run, I guess. And so every year we have somewhere between 25,000 and 30,000 Aggies that come together for one full 12-hour event. And they just do service projects around the Bryan College Station community where we're located. We're also #7 among public and private universities for National Merit Scholars. If you're National Merit, again, reach out, let me know. I want to chat with you more. So let's talk how we stack up. And #1, I feel like you can say you're #1 in a lot of areas. A lot of schools can say that too, particularly my favorite. Again, in a world where COVID maybe didn't exist or even moving forward, we're going to play with it. But we are #1 as far as universities goes for sending the most students abroad to do a study away trip. That's really important whenever you're thinking about doing learning inside and outside the classroom. And again, one day we will all travel very soon, but just knowing that that's something that's within Texas A&M's DNA is really important. So let's talk academics quickly. First things first, we are a STEM-heavy university. We have so sorry, Mariah, my watch just died, so let me know if I get too far on time, okay? Either way, so academics, STEM heavy. We have one of the largest college of engineering in the entire nation, with 1/3 of our students being out of engineering specific. Other notable things to look into, again, 130 majors, that's a lot to kind of visually look through, but as far as notables, right, we have things such as visualization. Our meteorology program is within the top 5 in the nation at all times. It always kind of fluctuates. Business is incredibly popular and it does fill. So that is something to keep in mind being a senior, even a junior, considering what you might want to study. Whenever you apply to Texas A&M, you do apply into a particular program and not just the university as a whole. Now let's talk about how to apply. So first things first, the application. We have 2 different ways to make that happen. First thing is Apply Texas. The other one is the Coalition. It's very similar to the Common App, but we are not part of Common App, so that is something important to note. If you're applying to multiple schools in the state of Texas, students typically tend to use Apply Texas, but again, tomato, tomato, we don't mind either way. As far as application requirements, again, first thing we're looking for is that application for admission. And something that is important to note, that application you are filling out also serves double purposes as your scholarship application. So keep that in mind too. Again, no matter what it is that you're looking into studying, everybody will fill out SAA as well. Now, for those of you that are interested in engineering, you will have an additional essay whenever you click on any of the engineering degrees that you're interested in studying. It will automatically prompt that engineering question to come up. So you will have an additional essay. So everybody will have 1, engineers will have 2. Moving on, we have an application fee. It's $75 domestic. If you're an international student, it's $90. If you have a fee waiver, talk with your counselor. Let us know. We can work with that as well. The last thing that's required is a self-reported academic record. So this is what we call SRAR. Instead of having your high school counselor send us a transcript in the beginning for the application purposes, instead you actually create something that's similar to a transcript. And then at the end, you'll finish up with an official final transcript after you graduate high school. So for the purpose of just applying to A&M, you'll never actually send us a transcript. You'll instead complete a SRAR. Now there's a couple things, again, optional. Did not used to be, again, COVID has played a factor here, but we used to require an official ACT or SAT score. Now it is test optional, but again, kind of like, Austin was saying with Mississippi State, we do still recommend that you send those scores in to us if you have them. It can't hurt you. We'll put it that way. The last thing that you can send to us that is optional are letters of recommendation. They are not required, they're optional, and we will take the first two that you submit to us. Moving forward, so holistic review, we realize that you are a lot more than what your ACT, SAT, GPA, the amount of hours of community service that we have. You're a multifaceted human being, and so we want to know more about you. And so this is your chance to tell us everything out of these three buckets, right? So academic achievement, the things that you see, AP credits, dual credit, IB diplomas. How are you pushing yourself academically, right? Are you doing research on your own? We want to know about that. But we also want to know what you're doing outside of the classroom, whatever that may be. If it's a part-time job, if you're a part of student organizations, student council, if you're part of athletics. Again, we want to know that information. This year in particular, we do have a specific question that comes up about challenges and hardships specifically related to COVID. So it's not an essay question, but it is, we want to know a little more. Have things changed for you recently, particularly whenever it comes to funding? So again, tell us more about yourself, because this is the three buckets that we're really wanting to know about. Now, important deadlines. Our application did open August 1st. We pushed it back. So juniors, it may be July 1st again for you next year, but this year for our seniors, we opened August 1st, and you have until December 1st to submit that application. So we give you a couple weeks after the December 1st deadline to submit the additional requirements as far as the SRAR, or if you do want to send us in your 2 letters of recommendation or an SAT or whatever it may be. Those additional things, all those documents, you can still send to us by December 15th, but the application, that is a hard and fast deadline by December 1st. So you'll have that in. Typically, if you have all the information to us and your file is complete by then, depending on whenever you submit everything, you'll find out anywhere between December and the first week of March as far as whether you were admitted to A&M or not. And so then from there, you have the rest of the spring semester to decide if you officially want to confirm by May 1st, as we are a May 1st school. And again, that SRAR, or not SRAR, the transcript, you have until August 15th to send that in to us after your senior year is over with. Okay, financial aid and scholarships, quick, we'll touch on that. So again, non-resident, we are at the 40K mark for tuition and fees, plus the other various things as far as traveling from O'Hare to DFW and back 2, 3, 4 times a semester. Housing and meals. Are you going to Starbucks every single day? Maybe multiple times a day, because if that's the case, this number may go up, right? So this is all factors that can fluctuate. Tuition, being an out-of-state student, you are looking at around $40,000. Similar to Mississippi State, we do have an out-of-state fee waiver. The way that works is you have to have at least $4,000 of competitive scholarships. And if that's the case, again, instead of being here, automatically without applying, it just plops you in to this in-state resident, which the 12.7 is not a bad price, folks. So keep that in mind. Okay, as far as scholarships go, again, that application, either Coalition or Apply Texas. So if you want to know more about scholarships that we have to offer, we do have a list, scholarships.tamu.edu. But again, you don't have to apply for anything additional. It's all within that scholarship application. And normally we do award somewhere around the 14,000 mark as an average award package for students. And we do have almost 3/4 of our Aggies that have some type of financial assistance that's awarded to them. One of the biggest ways to be able to have funding as an out-of-state student is the Corps of Cadets, and it is our largest student organization that's on campus. It's an ROTC program. So just something to keep in mind while you're considering scholarship opportunities. Okay, last thing, online/virtual resources. So again, since COVID-19 has kind of wreaked havoc on 2020, we have all of these additional virtual and online resources just like this for every school. So here you have two different links. Again, admissions.tamu.edu/resources. This gives you a plethora of online everything from walking recorded tours to 360-degree videos. You can schedule a conversation with a current Aggie, so on and so forth. So this is a really good resource to use, as well as our online view book, aggiebound.tamu.edu. Thanks and gig 'em. Okay. Next.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. There we go. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Chukis, and I am the Chicago Regional Admissions Representative for the University of Missouri. So I'll be talking about just general Mizzou knowledge today, and I'll always feel free to use the Q&A feature to ask any questions. So just a little bit about the University of Missouri. We are located in Columbia, Missouri, which is smack dab in the middle of the state of Missouri, between St. Louis and Kansas City. Both of those cities are about an hour and a half in either direction of us. So it's pretty easy to transport. When it comes to location in comparison to Illinois, from the Chicagoland area, it's about a 6-hour drive. There are direct flights from O'Hare to Columbia, so it does make that transition a little bit easier. We are the largest university in the state of Missouri, so we have about 30,000 students who are on our campus, and they come from all 50 states and over 120 countries. So Illinois is actually our largest out-of-state feeder, so it's quite easy to meet someone from your home state and get to know them while you're on campus. We are what's called a land-grant institution and an AAU institution, so you are getting a kind of 2-for-1 deal in terms of those educational resources, as well as the ability to do undergraduate research with some phenomenal professors who are on campus, and that all comes at an affordable cost. So now that you all know where we are, now that you know how to get here, let's talk about how you get here academically. So in terms of admissions requirements, we have 17 core classes that we require. This year, we are providing a test optional route for students. So I'll go through the things that are going to be used for both with a test and without a test, and then I'll split those up for you all. So first things first, in terms of high school curriculum, we will be looking to see that you've taken 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 3 years of social studies, 3 years of science, 2 years of the same foreign language, and a fine art. So those are the 17 classes that we will be looking for. If you are applying with a test score, the way that you'll be evaluated will be based off of if your school does class rank or not. So if you go to a school that gives you a class rank, so for example, you know you are student 7 out of 92, then you will be using that first chart, the one that's on the left-hand side. And if your school does not do class rank, you'll be using the non-ranking school chart. So automatic admission into Mizzou, if you hit a 24 on the ACT or an 1160 on the SAT or above, and you have good grades in those core classes, that is automatic admission into Mizzou. However, if you fall somewhere on this sliding scale, meaning you hit from a 17 to a 23 on the ACT or a 920 to an 1150 on the SAT, that's where those additional things like the class rank or core GPA will come into play. So for example, if you had a 21 on the ACT or a 1060 on the SAT and you were in the top 38% of your class, that would be admission into Mizzou. Or for example, if you had a 20 on the ACT or a 1030 on the SAT, we would need to see that of those 17 core classes we just talked about, you had a 3.2 core GPA, okay? Now, let's say you apply without a test score. So that process is quite simple. You'd still apply online and pay the application fee, but instead of you sending us your test scores, you would submit a resume and a personal statement. And so we do have an example of what that would look like on our website if you need some assistance with that formatting. You can always send us your updated test scores, or if you have the ability to take the test at a later time, you can always send that to us, and you can notify us in writing if you'd like for us to review you with a test score instead of without a test score. So just to recap, the application process, 3 steps. You apply online, so either our website or the Common App. And there's a $55 application fee. Step number 2, you send us your official high school transcripts. And then step number 3, if you're applying with test scores, have them sent directly to us from the testing centers. If you're applying test optional or without a test score, send us those supporting documents, being the personal statement and the resume. Okay, so in terms of the majors and programs that we have at Mizzou, we have over 300 different degree programs. What we're most known for is our School of Journalism, because we have the first school of journalism in the world. So that program is really popular to our students. Some other really popular degree programs are business, engineering, health professions, biology, psychology, education, and things of that nature. Even if you came in undecided, that is perfectly fine. So when you're applying to Mizzou, you're applying to the university as a whole. And so you can explore different majors while you're on our campus before you actually make that final decision. In terms of the classroom experience, there is a the average class size is 30 students, and there's an 18:1 student to faculty ratio. But one thing that happens amongst all of our majors is something called the Missouri method. So what that means is your opportunity to learn by doing. We want you to get as much hands-on experience while you're on campus and getting that education before you actually go out into the real world and experience it full time. So you can see some examples on this slide of some of our students getting some of those hands-on experiences. As I mentioned, the journalism school is really popular. So in that bottom right picture, you actually see some of our journalism students who are on air at KOMU. We're actually the only university in the country that owns and operates a commercial network affiliate that's run by our students. So students are the ones on air, they're the ones editing the segments, producing the segments, and all of that jazz. And they do that before they graduate. So that makes the job application process really, really smooth for them, because they've already been there and done that when it comes time to apply for those. And then in terms of value, I did mention a lot of students love the affordability aspect of Mizzou. I'm going to cover a few things that some of your fees as a student would go to cover. And then I'll talk about some ways that we can help save in terms of costs. So getting involved is something that's really important on campus. You do get a student activity fee. With that being said, I encourage you to join organizations. So regardless of the school that you end up attending, I always say join at least 2 clubs or organizations. One that's related to your major, another thing that's related to some sort of extracurricular that you may want to explore. We have everything from hammock clubs to a Quidditch team to Greek life to dance teams, etc. So you'll most likely find what you're looking for, but if you don't, you can also start your own organization. This fee also goes to cover different speakers and events and concerts that we may have on campus. So while that may look a little bit different now, in my time at Mizzou, I got to see people like Chance the Rapper, Angela Davis, Bill Nye the Science Guy, Imagine Dragons. So a bunch of different people coming to our campus. Another fee that you have is that rec center fee. So that's something I highly encourage that students utilize. Sports Illustrated actually ranked us as having one of the best rec centers in the nation, and through some of these pictures, I think you can see why, but you can even see it better in person. One of my favorite spots was that bottom left photo where it shows you Tiger Grotto, and that has a whirlpool and lazy river and steam room and sauna, etc. So you have a lot of ways where you can unwind and relax and also get a workout in while you are on campus. Now, I did mention some of those cost savers. One of those that's really popular with my out-of-state students is the Missouri residency process. It is a 12-month process that you begin typically your freshman year, and then it would kick in your sophomore year. So list these 5 steps right here of living in the state for 12 months, getting $2,000 of taxable income during that year, getting a driver's license in Missouri and registering to vote in Missouri, and not getting claimed as a dependent on parents' taxes. So complete those 5 steps for that freshman year, and then starting your sophomore year, you'd actually be a Missouri resident and get in-state tuition, and that helps out-of-state students save about $17,000 per year going forward. We do have some automatic scholarships that students may qualify for, so you may not need to go through the residency process because some of them do provide a non-resident tuition waiver. Those will be available on our scholarships website. And then before I wrap up, just some fun tidbits. We are the birthplace of homecoming. So if you celebrate homecoming at your schools or have been to a homecoming celebration, you are welcome. We started that tradition back when our athletic director invited alums to come back home, AKA campus, and watch a football game. And ever since then, we've kept the tradition up with things like the football game, of course, parades, service events. We actually have the nation's largest student-run blood drive on our campus. So lots of ways that you can get involved on campus and celebrate the entire month of October for homecoming. And then if you were to screenshot a slide, this will break down all of those important dates and deadlines. I'd say this would be the slide for you. Remember that our application is open. FAFSA opens up October 1st, and competitive scholarships are due by December 1st. So make sure you get all of those materials in on time. And then last but not least, this is my contact information. I am based here in Illinois, so feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to help. Our campus is open for visits, so if you'd like to schedule one, you can head to our website, admissions.missouri.edu/visit. We do have virtual tours and presentations as well as in person, so we can try to help you out in the best way possible. And that is all I have for you all, so I'm going to pass it over to the University of South Carolina. Thank you all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rajanda Robinson, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. All right, my name is Rajanda, and I am the regional admissions rep for the University of South Carolina. I'm located in downtown, or close to downtown Chicago, but I cover the entire state. The University of South Carolina is actually located in the other Columbia, in the capital of South Carolina. We have about 34,000 students total on our campus. About 44% of our students are from out of state, and Illinois is one of the top states that we actually get students from. This past year, we had about 110 students go down to campus from just the state of Illinois. We have 22% of our students are underrepresented minority, and we have about 18% of our students that are first generation. On our campus, because we are located in Columbia, we have over 500 plus student organizations that students are allowed to get involved in. That bottom picture there on the right is one of our student recreation centers. There's an indoor and outdoor pool. There's a climbing wall, and there's also a space where you can rent all of the equipment if you wanted to do a kayaking trip or a trip to the mountains. Being Columbia, kind of in the center of the state, we're only 90 miles from the mountains, 90 miles from the beach, and 90 miles from Charlotte. We also have over 30 plus Fortune 500 companies right in Columbia. IBM has an office on our campus right across the street from the recreation center. And then we also have 3 hospitals for nursing, for our nursing students. We also have our own medical school, our own law school, and our own school of pharmacy. These are going to be the academic colleges and schools that we have at the University of South Carolina. You will see listed on there the South Carolina Honors College. We have the #1 public honors college in the country, but it is an academic college that you will actually graduate from. And so if you are a public health major, you can be a public health major in the South Carolina Honors College. A couple of our popular majors that we have on our campus, we have the #1 international business program, and we have for the past couple of years. We also have the #1 sport and entertainment management department, and like I already mentioned with the South Carolina Honors College. So if you're wanting to apply to any of the majors on our campus, they're all going to be direct admit except for international business and nursing. If you are interested in nursing or into international business, you apply into the Honors College, you can receive direct access into those programs. But if not, you would just be a pre-IB major or pre-nursing major, and then you'd be able to apply into those areas after your first year. One of the cool majors that I think that we have on our campus is in the College of Information and Communication with the journalism department. Every year during the Super Bowl, we actually have what we call the Cocky Awards, and we have our journalism students go through all of the commercials from the Super Bowl, and then they choose a winner, and that winner comes to campus and they receive their award. So we've had Pepsi on campus, we've had Coke on campus, we had the Planters Peanut on campus this past year, and every year, if you look on our website, you'll be able to find all of them. A little bit about our Carolina Elite program. So we have a Top Scholars program, the South Carolina Honors College, and the Capstone Scholars program. The Honors College does require a separate application, and I'll talk about that later. But with both of the Capstone Scholars program and the South Carolina Honors College, they both have their own housing. So in that top left corner is the Capstone Scholars housing, and that bottom right corner is the Honors housing. If you're a part of Honors, there are some trips that you're allowed to take. There are study abroad opportunities that are open for you. We also have direct admit into medical school, law school, and pharmacy school if you are part of the Honors College. If you are wanting to go into honors, into pharmacy or into medical school, the fast track programs that we have through Carolina Elite are going to have you bypass the MCAT and the PCAT. So these are the required courses that we have to get into the University of South Carolina. The fine arts credit, we know that a lot of schools in Illinois don't require the fine arts credit, so we will just use another class off of your transcript to fill that requirement that we have for our core classes. And the rule of thumb in general is going to be, if you're wondering where a class falls, just ask your counselor, and whatever your school categorizes the class as, that is what we will take it as. If you have any specific questions, you can have my information at the end, and you can always send me an email asking me, where your classes may fall. This is our freshman profile from last year. This year, like some of the others, we are test optional, but if you're thinking about sending us a test score, these are going to be where our middle 50% fell. If you don't think that your test score accurately tells of your academic ability, then I would recommend not sending it. But if you fall in the middle of these 50% or you're at the higher end, then definitely go ahead and send it, and we will use it in the review of your application. With test optional, if you decide not to send the SAT or ACT, which are both super scored, we require you to submit either 3 exams from our approved list of AP, IB, and Cambridge scores, or to submit a graded essay from 11th or 12th grade, full name, date paper was submitted, the grade earned, and your teacher comments. The freshman requirements, so we are on we have our own U of SC app, we're on the Coalition, we're also on the Common App. We don't care which avenue you use, whichever is easier or better for you, we want you to use that one. There's a $65 application fee or a valid fee waiver from any of the ones listed on the list. The school report form will come from your counselor. The unofficial transcript, just take a picture, upload it to your application, and one of the required supplements that I talked about before. If you are planning on applying to the Honors College, there's 2 additional essays, 1 short answer that asks you why you want to be a part of the Honors College, 2 letters of recommendation, and test scores if you would like to submit them, but they're not required for consideration. The test optional policy also extends into merit awards, the Honors College, Capstone, and your admission in general. Definitely come and visit campus. These are going to be all of our visit dates. A little bit about the deadlines for the application. Our first early action non-binding deadline is going to be October 15th. The Honors College application is November 15th, and our end deadline is going to be December 1st. So we will need your application by December 1st. If you want to submit any additional credentials and you're applying early, you'll have until November 2nd. And if you are applying in December, you will have until February to submit any credentials. All Honors College decisions will go out in mid-February. Here's the contact information. So if you have any questions for us, you can definitely go on our website. We are offering visits in person and virtual visits. In-person visits, you have to sign up for visits. We don't allow walk-ins anymore because of COVID, but you can definitely still come and visit Columbia with our sunny days, especially now that it's about to start getting cold in Chicago. Here's my contact information. These are the states I cover, but that is my email address and my direct line. And I also am on Instagram for the university. So if you have any questions for myself or for any of the other reps on here, just go ahead and type those in and we'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're gonna have our other two schools come back online as well. So we did have a couple questions, and again, if you have anything, keep sending them our way. We do have a little bit of time, so we're just gonna round robin this as we go, and once we run out of questions, we will stop or go by time, whichever comes first. So first one's first. Austin, since you started us off, we'll have you answer. I'll go. Then Mizzou and South Carolina. We'll just kind of keep up that route, right? So first question is, does your school count band or music as a foreign language?
I had to figure out how to unmute myself right quick. Not that I'm aware band and music as a foreign language. That might count as like an elective type art credit, but not as a foreign language to my knowledge.
Okay, correct. So for Texas A&M, yeah, for Texas A&M as well, I don't believe that we count band or music as a foreign language. I know sometimes art is what's needed instead of foreign language. We don't require a foreign language to be admitted, but if you don't have 2 years, you will take it as an A&M student. So if that's helpful.
Yeah, and also I don't believe would count as a foreign language for us, but we are looking for 2 years of the same foreign language. So keep that in mind, that if you are, for example, missing a fine art, then we'll want to see all of those other credits that we require. So try to have 2 years of that foreign language.
And South Carolina is exactly like Mizzou, verbatim, everything that she just said.
Perfect. Okay, next question. Since we are all part of the SEC, just happen to be, there are many others. Do we have any idea how large that our games are? How big your football field is? Like, what does that look like on campus whenever, if we ever have home football games again?
I guess I'll start again. So I know for this school year, we're limiting it, and I feel like we all are maybe, to 25% capacity. But on a regular season, our football stadium is somewhere around like mid 60 to 70,000 fans. We're actually the only school as well to allow to have an artificial noisemaker. I know people get tired of the cowbells sometimes, but it's an advantage, I believe, in my opinion. But yeah, that's where we stand.
Oh, that's so funny. That's right. You guys do have the little cowbells. So yeah, Texas A&M, we're the big football field, 102,000 plus. I've not 100% sure, but 102,000-ish people, and you stand for the entire game. That is obviously not going to be a thing this year with having that many people around, but that's our normal bread and butter. So football is king in Texas. It's a religion there.
Ours is quite similar to what Austin said. So at Mizzou, we are doing limited capacity, but typically I want to say it holds about a little over 60,000. And it has had some renovations lately, so that's a fun site.
Williams-Brice Stadium, which is one of the only football stadiums named after a woman, which a lot of people don't know at South Carolina. But we hold a little bit over 80,000, but we're going to be at 25% capacity this year.
Cool deal. So next question, which I think a couple of us touched on, but just to reiterate. So as of September 17th, 2020, is your campus offering in-person visits? And if so, what does that look like?
Yes, obviously they're limited capacity, but you go to campusvisit.msstate.edu, you can schedule a visit pretty much any weekday, morning and afternoon session.
Same, very limited capacity, about a 1/10 of what we normally would be offering. Masks are required for anybody and everybody, both not just visitors, but folks that are normally on campus, students, faculty, staff as well. But yes, we are offering in-person visits right now.
Quite similar to what's already been said. Same here. Following safety guidelines, we are allowing in-person visits, also virtual visits on our website if you aren't able to make it to campus. follow all safety procedures. And yeah, we hope to see you on campus. Visit.missouri.edu.
And we're the same as Missouri. We're not allowing any walk-ins. You do have to sign up before you're allowed to come to campus, and you will be asked to wear face coverings. And then virtual visits and all of those things are also available.
Same for us too. You have to wear a mask. I didn't say that, but you know.
Good deal. And then maybe the last question, unless we have something else come up. For a normal given year, what would a middle ground ACT SAT look like?
Actually, sorry to wrap this up. It is 5:15. With that, we really are so glad for you guys to be here, and feel free to answer the quick survey for all of our guests and attendees. You could also find more sessions by visiting our website at iacac.org. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, attendees, for your time. Have a great day.